What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Trick 10. This is part 2 of this Weldbilt 1548. Now this boat was complete bare bones just a couple of weeks ago. We got the entire deck done in here. All the hatches have been pulled out and they're at the powder coaters right now. I reached out to the customer. I told him that this was a good time to paint inside of this boat if he wanted to paint it. Because once we put these hatches in here, it's going to be hard to get in there and paint without getting overspray on them. He gave me the go ahead to get this thing rolling. We're going to put the paint in here. I'm going to sand this boat down on the inside, get a good coat of paint on it. Then we're going to be installing some turf in here. I do have some turf that got left over from another job, and I gave him a good deal on it. So we're going to be putting that in here. I'm going to turn the camera around and show you guys what we plan to do. You know how this works. Let's get right into it. All right, so check it out. We got a lot of metal work done in this boat, but everything is just raw aluminum. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna paint inside of these hatches in here, make sure the inside of these boxes are all nice and clean, and we're gonna put a coat of black paint in there. We're gonna paint inside of this drop down floor area, at least on these walls. I got 4 sheets of Seadek I'm gonna put in here, and I don't know if I'm gonna have enough to do the entire thing on all these walls. I might try to pick up one more sheet. You gotta see how quickly I can get one and if we're gonna need it. But I do have to install this battery tray in here. We decided to put this one into this box because this is the deepest box. Now you can see the floor difference from here over to here is pretty dramatic. And that I think will work out better because the battery can sit lower in there. He'll still have a lot of room around it. But we're going to paint inside of all this stuff. Now I'm not only going to paint inside of here, I'm going to paint up on these side rails down the side, and I'm thinking what I might do is just tape this thing off right underneath this pipe gunnel on here and go ahead and paint this top gunnel too, because I gotta blend this piece what I put up here for the trolling motor, and you know, I think that it would look a lot better if it was just black all the way across here, and then we can continue on down the whole pipe side on the gunnel, and then the back corner panel, probably just tape it off right along this corner right here. Just do here and down inside of here. And that way, he can still keep the stock color on the outside. And he said he was gonna pick up a can of paint. He's gonna come back and touch up some spots like these right here. That's the burn through from where we welded all the ribs, where we cut off the tops. So he can take care of the outside of the boat, but we're gonna go ahead and get the entire interior of this boat sanded up and the first coat of paint on here. Let's get back to work. Alright, so we got the boat painted. It looks pretty good. We're not professional painters, but it turned out pretty good. We put this paper up on the outside. It's got like a tape on top, and you can fold this out, help protect the side, because we're not painting the whole outside. Got some dust in here. We're gonna have to clean this thing up. It's been sitting for a couple of days. We did install this base right here for his seat post into the back of this bench. Got some angles up in the back of that, help support it. And we got all of the hatches back from the powder coaters. Austin's over here taking them out of the wrappers right now. Whole pallet full of them. They look good. So we're gonna take those and drop everything in where it goes, and we're gonna put all the rivets into those, get those permanently installed, and then we're gonna throw the turf in here. Let's get back to work. All right, so we got all the hatches installed. Austin got all these things in here and they look really good. The fitment on all this is spot on. And what we're gonna do is start on this front deck. Now he already wiped the whole front deck, vacuumed it, and wiped it down with acetone. It's ready to go. It's nice and clean. I was trying to figure out where we're gonna start. Now, the reason you need to have a good start spot is because the sheets that we're using, this is the snow camo Seadek. These sheets are a little bit smaller than the HydroTurf or the Ortho deck. They're only 40 inches by 80 inches. These are actually a two-tone color. And these are the type of sheets you would get if you wanted to CNC route them, but obviously we don't have a CNC router, so we're not doing that. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna start from the seam right here. And we're gonna bring it over. And it's gonna dead end right past this hinge right here. So that will allow us to have a whole sheet in there, cover all of these panels inside of here with one piece. And we'll pick up from there over to the side with our second piece. And that way we won't have any seams in any of these lids on the front deck. Now I am going to put a straight edge line down here so I have a place to start. Because I'm going to start in the floor on this vertical wall. We're going to stick it to the floor, get it nice and tight over here, and then we're going to pull it back, fold it over the top, and we're going to keep it running all the way down as far up as we can get it. And it's probably going to dead end into this foot pedal tray somewhere, and we'll have part of our seam up underneath of the foot pedal. Now we're going to put the foot pedal on top of the turf. That way it can be removed. He'll have access to get in here because he's got to run a lot of wires and stuff in here. Let me go ahead and get this thing going. Let's get back to work. All right, so the boat is done, man. This thing turned out so good. It looks sick. We did come back and turf the whole side wall up. I just think it finishes it off. Makes it look more like a bass boat, because a bass boat would have carpet all the way up where all the turf is at. Now the snow camo turned out really good. It's pretty easy to install. First time I've used it, and I'm pretty impressed with it. This is the 6mm, so it's a little bit thicker. Definitely gives some extra support. Sick build though. Got lots of room in there. Put all the Trick 10's logos on all of his hatches. This is a deep one. It's a skinny hatch. Electrical panel. Thing's sick, man. Lots of room up inside of this one. It's a big hatch. We did go ahead and put our dividers in here in both of these to separate these compartments. This is the big one on the pistons right here. Got a ton of space up inside of there though. I think he's gonna be happy with this whole project, the way everything turned out. It's really nice, man. It turned out really cool. We got the cup holders, port and starboard, and he can come back and throw his graph up here on a balls out mount or some type of a swing arm ram mount if he wants to. But he's got still a decent amount of room in there in his floor, and back deck is big too. Lots of room back here. Now, this thing turned out really cool the way this hatch is. We did this cutout on here, so it wraps around. Still gives him room to pull his gas hose through. And if he has an electric start motor, he can throw a battery in here. He can run that stuff up through there. Run his transducer cables up here, down here, and back to the side or wherever he's gonna have those at. But this back hatch is pretty dope. If you guys are interested in getting a hatch like this made, I'll be glad to hook you guys up with it. This way you don't have to cut into this back transom support at all. But either way, it's still a pretty sick hatch. Lots of room inside the original bench seat too. That's how we do all the builds. He's got lots of space up in there. Runs a full length on the bottom of the boat. And then I think my favorite hatch of all of them is this long skinny one over here. Threw some turf in there. Lots of room in there though. Put a shotgun in there, all your soft plastics. You know, throw a couple dividers in there if you wanted to, but I think this thing's gonna get used a lot up on the front of this deck. Oh no, it's a sick build though. We still got a graph bridge for him. He's gonna get a single graph bridge to go over the recessed foot pedal tray. I'm gonna paint that for him, and then I'm gonna let him install that and install this tray permanently once he gets all his wiring and stuff done, because he's still got a decent amount of wiring to run in here for all his lights and his power cables for all the batteries and stuff like that that are going in here. Honestly though, this is a pretty dope build. 1548 Weldbilt. I mean, you can't get much more of a transformation from start to finish, and the layout is pretty much spot on for what you're gonna need out there bass fishing. All right guys, so another project. We wrapped this thing up pretty quick. It looks dope. The turf in here just turned out phenomenal. The whole layout of the boat, it's cool. I mean, it's spot on. They're all so similar, but I appreciate you giving us the opportunity to design this one the way that you wanted it. Now, if you guys are interested in getting anything like this done, send us an email. You can reach us at professionalwelding@gmail.com. If you want any merch, that's on trick10s.net. If you guys want to check out my products, that's trick10sjohnboats.com. You cannot actually order it from the website. You're gonna have to send me an email with the products that you want. I do appreciate you guys hanging out with us today. Hit that like and subscribe button, leave a comment. I'll see y'all on the next one. Let's get back to work.